الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
When we speak about the Islamic world, we're not just speaking about the Middle East. The Islamic world could be anywhere in the world. Uh, as you're probably familiar with, Islam is one of the three main religions in the world. Right now, the largest ones considered Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism. Um, Islam, being that large religion, has its roots uh, in the Middle East, but could be located anywhere in the world. So when we talk about art of Islam, that's a massive topic. Uh, and like the other topics we talk about, really any one of these things could be its own class. The study of Islamic art could be its own major. There's a lot of variety and a lot of different stuff. So we just want to touch on some of the elements that seem to apply to a lot of Islamic art. Islamic artwork, of course, does not just mean Middle Eastern art. Islamic artwork is involved with religion, and a lot of that religion revolves around the Islamic temple, which is known as a mosque. And you've probably heard the term mosque on the news. In the United States, sometimes it's a source of contention for people that feel that Islam is opposing to the ideas of the United States or in opposition to Christianity. Some people view the mosque as being a negative place. It's a religious structure, so depending on what religion you have, you might view it in a different way. And of course, there are some people that would view a Christian church as being a negative uh, sort of place. It depends on, of course, what your belief system is, and sometimes that depends on where in the world as well that you're located. Many of the designs used in Islamic artwork come from patterns that occur not only in nature but also in the process of weaving or making carpets. They involve geometry and they also involve writing. The Arab language visually is very beautiful. It's flowing and it's artistic, and according to Islamic belief, writing, similar to some other cultures that we talked about, is not just recording information. It's a form of spiritual magic. It's a holy act within itself. Writing and speaking can both be considered holy or spiritual actions. So these designs that involve geometry aren't just mathematical, they're also natural, and they are also influenced by language. Calligraphy means artistic writing, beautiful writing, and calligraphy is very prominent in places in Asia, and it's also prominent in the Middle East and in Islamic societies. So that writing again affects the appearance of designs and artwork that you might see also on architecture. Another influence is carpets. The patterns and the geometric forms that occur when someone is making a carpet are copied throughout all artwork, and also the carpet itself becomes a way to spread design ideas because it is portable. You can roll it up um, and transport it, and that way many people around a region can see the same piece of artwork in a way that you couldn't do with a piece of architecture that you'd have to travel to see. The carpet is transportable. Here's a really nice example of geometry and patterning in architecture. really beautiful work, really complex patterns, and these interweaving patterns, in a way, are mathematical, and that mathematic nature is a way to express the idea of infinite love or infinite life. So I think in the West we tend to think of uh, mathematics in general as being kind of cold, and we use the terms cold and calculating, like uh, math is something that's reptilian, when in reality it's nature's way. It involves nature's laws, and a mathematic number that repeats in a sequence that repeats like a fractal is actually a source of a lot of natural beauty in the world, and that was a big influence on architectural elements like this. An element that you'll see in an Islamic mosque is called a mirad, and that is this shape. It's the pointed shape, and it points towards Mecca, Mecca being the Islamic holy city. So wherever you're at in a world, um, when you're in a mosque and you turn towards Mecca to pray, that's what this device functions as. It shows you which way to face, because it is a Islamic belief that one should face Mecca, this holy city, the birthplace of Muhammad, when they pray, and that prayer happens 5 times a day. Another aspect of mosques that you see a lot is called a minaret, and a minaret oftentimes will contain a speaker, and it's used to announce those times of prayer throughout the day. Looking at this large mihrab, which again is the area that points towards Mecca within the mosque structure, you can also see the top of 2 minarets in the background, and a mosque generally has 4. It's believed that originally these were used for ventilation, so the kind of onion-like dome shape of the top of the tower would be used to let warm air rise up and exit, and then pull cooler air into the building. The style of minarets changed a lot over the centuries, and so some that you see are very thin and needle-like, and others have this dome-like or onion-like appearance at the top. There's a video that I've put a link to on D2L that goes in a little more depth about some different styles of mosque architecture and some different types of minarets. You're probably aware that the news media in the United States and in places in Europe, France, and Britain certainly paint Islam with a negative brush and associate it with radical movements and terrorism. And uh, there's some association with people that practice certain parts of that religion with those activities. But to condemn an entire religion is ignorant, and it's not accurate. The building that you're looking at here is located in modern day India, and it was the seat of the Mughal Empire, which was an Islamic empire, and this particular place was used to hold philosophical conversations that involved people from different religions that are symbolized by those 4 paths that you see intersecting into this massive column. Probably the most famous example of mosque architecture in the world, the Taj Mahal, considered to be one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. And as you can see, it's stunning, including a garden and a reflecting pool in the front. Absolutely gorgeous architecture. I'm also going to include a link to a video about that. Sometimes it's difficult to talk about all of these different cultures from all over the world. My specialty is ancient Western art, especially Greek Golden Age. And so with Islamic art, I get a little bit out of my box, so I try to supplement that with some other resources. Hey, have a great weekend. Watch the videos, and that'll be the rest of the lecture. I'll see you guys on Monday.